the Baron de Palm. Well, this guy gave H.P. Blavatsky and Colonel Olcott a lot of hassle that they didn't need in the early years of the society, and a little bit more hassle later on as well. He turned up at the Theosophical Society in December of 1875 in New York, just after it had been founded. He even had a letter of recommendation to Colonel Olcott, although it can't be certain that that letter of recommendation was genuine. And he was accepted into the society, and in March, 29th of March 1876, he was voted onto the committee of the society. Then it started. He complained that he was unwell, and Olcott put him up at his flat. Okay, did him a favour. Now, he really was unwell actually, but he'd given the impression that he was of independent means, as a wealthy man of independent means, and certainly with a name like Baron de Palm, you would expect he'd be somebody that, say, would own a factory rather than work in one. So he certainly impressed people that he was of private means, wealthy, and he really was a baron. He came from an aristocratic Bavarian family, so that part of it was true. Anyway, his condition deteriorated, and Olcott got him into hospital. Now, before this happened, the Baron de Palm rewrote his will in Olcott's presence and made a sort of provision for Olcott in the will that would go to the Theosophical Society, and that would be of great benefit to the society. On the basis of this, Olcott got him into hospital at the Roosevelt Hospital in New York, and actually he was genuinely ill. He wasn't pulling a fast one there, and he died in May. Now, Olcott then found, when he was going through the Baron's effects, his trunk and everything, that he'd been nicking Olcott's shirts, because he found some of his shirts in the Baron's private, in his trunk, that had had the Olcott's name picked out. So he'd been nicking Olcott's shirts. Anyway, it turned out that the Baron de Palm was actually penniless, and there's a bit of a con man. The thing that he did, though, and this is why Baron de Palm is remembered, he requested a pagan cremation. Now, Olcott was really keen on this, and at the time he started to arrange it, he actually thought they were getting some money from the Baron. It turned out later that, of course, they weren't. But the arrangements were made for this pagan cremation because a chap called Dr. F. Julius Des Moines was actually building his own crematorium in New York for his own use, to be cremated himself. Now, they kept the Baron's body in clay for 6 months till this was ready, and this was the first let's say incineration cremation that took place in America, and this was on December the 6th, 1876, amid massive publicity. And as the Baron had requested, Olcott officiated at the ceremony. Unfortunately for Olcott, this led to him losing a very valuable client, because of who was a Christian, who objected to this pagan cremation, so Olcott lost out there. Anyway, the Baron is now famous for being the first person to be cremated in a crematorium in America. There were people who'd been cremated on funeral pyres, Indian style, prior to that, but this was amid the massive publicity in the centre of New York, this is the one that's remembered. Now, unfortunately, the society hadn't heard the last of the Baron, and this is some years later, and on the 20th of July 1890, the New York Sun published a letter from Dr. Eliot Coues, and he claimed in it that Isis Unveiled had been written from the manuscripts that had been found in the Baron de Palm's private papers. Now, Eliot Quez was a historian and he was a big name in ornithology, and where he got the idea from is not known, but it turned out there was actually no basis for this claim, and the New York Sun did apologise to HPB for this and published a retraction. But again, it was the Baron coming back from the grave, and it was hassle that the Society didn't need.